I've not entered AUD yet, got it on as a limit order. Do you think this is still a good trade to take? These resistance levels with the R, that's the strongest resistance. And sometimes what you'll see is a consolidation at these levels. So if there's an R or an S with a circle, you're going to see sometimes a consolidation here. A structure that was broken, and then we got the retest of that structure over here, and then we went down into a TPs here. So I entered on this first trade. This was my first entry on UAN. I already took profit and I slept. Just to clarify, did you say if your CAD kind of closes above red empty box to move break even? Been in this trade since 10 September, not sure if let run, will probably even. Is this the first time you're in the trade, or did you already take TPs multiple times? So it's just a matter of putting a trust into the algo, and if you stay with the algo for a couple months, you're gonna see how powerful it is. Hey guys, welcome to the weekly Q&A. If you're new, the weekly Q&A is really just to help you guys understand the strategy mode. If you guys have questions, you guys can pop them into the chat box, and from there I'll be able to answer your guys' question. But yeah, so the weekly Q&A, if you guys have questions, if you guys have concerns, if you guys want to learn more about BFT or the strategy mode, this is a really good time to go through any of that. If you guys have questions about any specific strategy mode trades, we can go through those as well. So if you guys have questions, pop them into the chat. That's already up if you guys want to watch that. So we got your CAD. I recommended this to skip this one, so you shouldn't be in this one if you guys watch the weekly review, just because it's been repeated a couple times. The best way to see if a trader is repeated, if you just draw a box across your entry, and then from there you can count how many times the trade was repeated. So for example, this trade, so this or entry on this candle, this is where the entry popped up. So this was our first entry here, and we hit TP here once. Actually, let me draw out this rectangle as well. So this is our TP level, and we can see really price. So this was our first entry, first TP, second entry, the second TP, and then this would be your third entry, and then it didn't quite go there to the other TP, but so you can see we've had multiple TPs on this trade. So if you come in late and you see that the trade is repeated, don't take it, because the probability from there is lower. We want fresh levels. Those are going to be your best levels. And if you took the trade once and you've made profit on it, then you can take it again because you have like extra cushion. But if it's your first time and it's repeated, it's best really just to stay out, because it won't. The probability just won't be there. So the repeated trades, that's something you have to learn over time. You're not going to be able to pick that up right away. It takes some practice. But if you take the trades as they come up, so let's say you joined and there's a new trade that came up, it's never been repeated, then you can that's a trade you can take. If it's been there for longer, it's been repeated, best thing you can do is skip those trades. And really, if the market is kind of in a consolidation like this, you can see it's not really trending, right? So if you look at every candle is 1 day, so you can see price has been really struggling to move anywhere on EuroCAD. And then if you look at something like Euro Yen, that's a completely different story. You can see how it's trending. So you can see how price, it was consolidating up here, but we can see it broke down, it broke out of this consolidation, and now we're waiting for the retest. So we're waiting for price to go up again, and then again go back into a TP. So this trade I already took once. I was able to catch this the first time when this popped up. I was able to get on this retest of the next daily candle. So I already profited on TP1. The algo actually recalculated. So this TP was actually up here. So now the TP moved down a bit, which is awesome, because now if price moves back up, I'm going to take this trade again, because it's going to be a repeated trade. Because I made money on the first one, so I want to take it a second time. So if that happens, I'll take it down to this level. So my first profit point was this, but now if I do get another entry in the short, I'll take it down to this level. What are some other ones? Oil actually went down today a little bit. Let's hope we get a nice bearish close today on oil. What that's going to do is, if we do get that close, if we do get this bearish engulfing on this level here, we're going to see some more bears coming in, and all we need is really for this level to break. So once we get this engulfing, we'll probably see price going up again to retest that level, because again, these levels are like magnets. From there, we'll get a rejection, and then we need to break this level. So this is our support here we need to break. So as soon as you guys see price trading below this level, so you see candle closing below this level, that's where you can set up your short entries again. So I'm already in this trade, I'm already short because we had this nice close and then price went into drawdown a little bit, and that's fine. This happens sometimes and that's normal. But if you haven't set this trade up, don't just short it here. We want to wait for price to come back below this level again, and then from there we can short it. Yeah, do you guys have any questions? If you guys have questions about BFT, about strategy mode, about the navigator, pop them into the chat, and I'll be able to help you guys out from there. Let's see here. Let me check my Facebook feed, make sure nobody has questions on there. Let's see what else is cooking. We got, I think GBP CAD is still in profit. So this one's still good. Sugar, I don't really trade sugar, but yeah, this one looks like it's going back into our entry box as well. AUD CAD is also repeated. It's currently below our entry. Looks like it hit this TP point here today, actually. So that's good. And then let's look at GBP, GBY. We're still waiting for that to play out, waiting for it to go back into our entries. Euro NZD, I believe, currently is in slight drawdown, but again, that's completely normal. It says no trade zone here, but the other day, I think yesterday, we had a short on this. So if you take a trade and the signal disappears from the algorithm, you can keep the trade. It doesn't mean that the trade is invalid. It just means the level is recalculated, but you can still keep the trade open. So don't think that when a trade disappears, you have to close your trade. That's not how this works. And then stocks, let's see. God, I think we've got a question here. I also have EuroCAD short since September 10th. If you already have EuroCAD open, then I'd suggest leave AUD CAD out. Let me open this up. AUD CAD. Hello Dixon, how's it going? So if we do get this bearish close here on AUD CAD, then I would say you can set that up, because that would say that we have a strong rejection on this level, which then you can probably get TP1 and TP2 out of. But you already have EuroCAD, and I believe EuroCAD currently is in drawdown. So what I would do maybe is move your no, I would leave them running for sure. Yeah, leave this one running, because this candle isn't closed. So this is still, if you're in this trade, it's still a good trade. It's not invalid. AUD CAD, you can set up. Maybe I would even suggest GBP CAD might be a better trade to set up than AUD CAD, simply because AUD CAD has been repeated multiple times already, and GBP CAD hasn't hit TP yet. So maybe perhaps instead of setting up AUD CAD, set up GBP CAD. I think that would be a better trade, just because it's not been repeated. Does that help? Let me know if that answered your question. How's my audio, by the way? Are you guys hearing me okay? Is it not too loud? Not too? What's your analysis on AUD USD? Let's have a look. So Dixon, usually we kind of go through strategy mode trades, kind of get the basics down. I don't tend not to go through X mode too much on these sessions. But yeah, I don't mind going through a little bit here if you guys. Is there a strategy mode trade on AUD USD? Oh, I haven't seen it. When did that come in? Looks like it disappeared. Yeah, but if you're in this, is it a short or a TP2? Okay, nice. Yeah, I actually didn't catch this. It's good to know. Otherwise, I would have included it in our trade on our market review. Yeah, I mean, this looks fine. If you hit TP2, you should have one position left for TP3. Not sure where they were, but yeah, this looks fine. Yeah, don't try to rely on the news too much. Just trade whatever you see on the chart. News typically is already built into the price. So if we're day trading, that's a different story. But when we're swing trading, we don't care about news, just because basically what you're gonna see is, when you do this a little longer, is that when news happens, it's always gonna push you either into your entries or your TPs, and of course sometimes your stop loss. So it's just going to accelerate the amount of time the trade takes to play out. So if you're already in a trade, it's gonna be quicker for it to hit stop loss or TP. If you're not in a trade yet and it's a new trade, it's gonna go to your entry level quicker. So that's all it is. It's just more liquidity, more volume going into the market. But that's really it. And a lot of times these entries and these TPs line up exactly with news. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, it could be that news might push this into TPs, so that'll be cool. I'm excited to see how oil plays out, because we do have, so this used to be an RSSS, which means that this was a resistance, or is still a resistance, but it turned into a minor support, and now the support is leaving again. It's turning to neutral, so we could see an end coming in here. But you know, it's still a higher time frame. It's still a pretty strong resistance. So we can see how price was pretty much struggling here the whole time to break up. So it created this wedge, and now price fell below it. And looks like we just had a retest here. So if we get this bearish engulfing closed like that, I think we'll see some more shorts. But really, we need to break below this level here, and from there we can go to our TPs. I think, yeah, this one, we're more looking into this one, because if we zoom out a bit, we can see it's been pretty bearish, right? So we can see, yeah, this really was our high. When was this? Our 2020 high, and then we went down, and then price was really struggling to break further up. We can see it's been slowly moving up here into these extensions, and now we had a nice bearish move. So we broke out of this consolidation, and now we're just waiting for some more shorts. So hopefully we can see some more shorts come in. But again, we need this level to break here, this resistance or support, whatever you want to call it. At this point, it is a support, but on overall, it's still a resistance. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how this one plays out. I've been watching oil for a little bit, trying to find a good setup, but it's been so choppy. Hasn't been much going on. I have a scenario here to ask: if say I have a currency pair that hit TP1 and the rest of the stop loss is set to break even, would it still be considered as overexposing if I add another same pair to it? So if one of your trades hits TP and you to break even, that's a risk-free trade. So you know, if there's another opportunity on another pair, you can set that up because the other trade is now risk-free. So as long as it's set to break even and you don't have any other limits at that entry, then you can go into another trade. So you know, even if it doesn't even have to be the same pair. You know, let's say you have let's say you have your own rule of max 3 trades open at a time, and you had move 1 to break even, but you still have 3 trades open, but you're only risking your capital on 2 trades because the third one is moved to break even. So if you have the opportunity to do that, you hit your TP1, TP2, and you move to break even, and then you have room for more trades. Yeah, does that answer your question, Dixon? Okay, yeah, but then just make sure that you don't have any other limits on there. So for example, you know, euro yen is moved to break even, or not moved to break even. I hit TP1, TP2, and I set up my sell limit again because it's still a fresh trade. I got in pretty early, so I was able to hit TP1, TP2, and now I set up my limit orders again just in case it goes back up. I can grab those entries again and then come back down to TP1, TP2. Any idea why for short entry 3 on the BFT panel is really the first entry on the chart on the red box? Should this not match up, or does it? It doesn't matter really. Again, we're getting into kind of the fine details that are not that important. If you're only trading with 1 or 2 positions, then I would say go for entry 2 or entry 3, like the one that's closest to the bid and ask price, because then you're more likely to get triggered, right? If you take for example, let's look at euro yen. If you're taking, you know, if let's say entry 1 is all the way up here, right? So this would be your entry 1. This here is your entry 2, and this bottom is your entry 3 as an example. You know, if you're trading with 2 positions only, or 1 position because you have a smaller account, then I suggest you take entry 3 and entry 2, so the bottom ones here, because you're more likely to get triggered that way. If you take the one at the top, you'll get the best price, but there's no guarantee you're going to get entered. If you take the bottom 2, you're more likely to get into the trade. So if you're trading small account, if you only enter with 2 positions, then I would suggest that. Best thing you can do is enter with all 3, but you need an account size where you're able to do that. So because then you can always get the best price. So yeah, thank you, Dixon. Yeah, God bless. Have a good day. Good night. And this actually brings up another point with these lines. Feel free to set these lines up. You don't have to, but what it just helps with is if you set these up, if the algo disappears, you still have your lines to see where the entry was and where the exit was. Because sometimes the algo recalculates, because it recalculates in real time. So when the algo disappears, the signal disappears, you can still see where the entry and where the TPs were. So that's something you can do if you want. Just, you know, okay, there was a trade here, this was the entry, etc. But yeah, I like to keep mine clean, so I don't know. I know X mode, so I can just base it off X mode too. But yeah, whatever works for you guys. And there's a new update on the handbook coming out too, so I think that'll be today or tomorrow where we release an updated version of the handbook. So make sure to look at that as well when that comes out. it'll probably be announced in the global chat. So you have a split of 0.06 at the moment on your GPY. Yeah, I have multiple accounts. For this specific account, it's 2 positions. This account is at 7,000. I'm only interested in TP1, TP2. Again, I have more experience. I trade a little differently than I trade based on handbook, because I know the strategy. I've been trading for 5 years, so the way I trade this is going to be a little different than what you guys might trade. So yeah, just a heads up for that. I suddenly remembered something. Watch your weekly video on YouTube. I'm a bit skeptical on your CADs right now. Should I set TP to break even or let the trade run as it is? I would say wait for the candle to close, because we want to see, is this candle going to close above a level or below a level? If it does close above, then you can move to break even, just because it's been repeated so many times. So this trade already played out, I know, was it 3 times, I think? So if it played out multiple times and you didn't make money on the first one, I'll just move to break even if this kind of closes above our level. Because if it closes above like this, usually it will go to the next level. And it doesn't mean it'll hit stop loss. It could reverse from this level back into your TPs. We've seen that a lot of times already. But yeah, it looks like it's pretty bullish right now. We can see higher lows and higher highs. So if this kind of closes above this level, we might see another push to that next resistance. Jonathan is asking on Facebook, Patrick, can you do markup with the strategy mode and X mode later day down to the 1 hour chart, please? Any specific pair you wanted to look at, Jonathan? EJ. Okay, let me mark up EJ for you guys. Okay, so this is your yen. This is our entry box. With these entries, a lot of times what you'll see is, these resistance levels with the R. That's the strongest resistance. And sometimes what you'll see is a consolidation at these levels. So if there's an R or an S with a circle, you're going to see sometimes a consolidation here. What that means is price is accumulating orders, either at the bottom of support to push price up, or if it's at resistance like right now, it's consolidating. It's called distribution, where institutions are selling their orders, and that's why we see this drop down. And what you see very often is they do these fake outs to these extensions. So we got the strong resistance, and then we can see the fake outs to the extension. That's just to get the retail traders out, and then from here we see the drop. So what this is really is a retest of this broken consolidation. So this here was our consolidation. We were consolidating this box. Price broke out over here, and now we're looking for the retest on that level, and from there go down to TPs. So that's what we're watching here on Euro Yen. We can look at this on the 4 hour as well if you guys want. It's really going to be almost the same thing. We got our box here. We can see price has been in this box. We got the this here was really our structure that was broken, and then we got the retest of that structure over here, and then we went down into a TPs here. So I entered on this first trade. This was my first entry on Euro Yen. I already took profit, and I set up my new limits based on the new TV. And the 1 hour is really going to be choppy on this. It's not that clean. You guys don't have to worry about the 1 hour. The 4 hour really you don't have to worry about either. The 4 hour just gives you more information on the info you see on the daily. So if you look at this on the 4 hour, and if you look at this on the daily, it's the same thing. It's just the daily is a lot cleaner. So it's always nice to see a condensed version of the market and see a cleaner version. That's always better. So we can see the consolidation up here, the break, and now we're looking for the retail. Just to clarify, did you say if your CAD kind of closes above red indie box to move to break even? Been in this trade since 10 September, not sure if let run will be even. Is this the first time you're in the trade, or did you already take TPs? If you already took multiple, if it's your first time, then I'd move to break even if the daily candle closes above the entry, because it's been repeated so many times. You can close it at break even. So move TPs to break even, and then they come back, hit your TPs at break even, and then you're out. Don't close it manually where it is right now. That's going to be a bad habit that you're going to be building, and you're going to be in a habit where you're closing trades too early or too soon. So moving to break even is the best thing you can do. And if you get out at break even and price does continue going down, you can always, but then you have to wait for another candle close. You want another candle closing below the level. Then you can always set up your limits again. So let's say you get out at break even and price does come back down below the level. Then you can wait for another closing candle below the level and then set up your trades again. Because then most likely the trend will continue going down. Yeah, and I say move to break even just because it's been repeated so many times. If it was a fresh trade and it would close above, I would say no, stay in, this is normal. You know, a trade needs to breathe. Sometimes it'll go above our entry. But just because it's been repeated so many times, you know, for me personally, I like to get out at break even. And then, you know, if it does go back below my entry again, I can always set up my limit orders again. But again, you need to know the difference, right? So if a trade is repeated, you shouldn't be entering a repeated trade anyway. But if you do and you know catch it later, you can stay in it. But if it does go above that level, then you can always move to break even just to protect your capital, right? There's nothing wrong with that. The issue becomes when you always move to break even every time price moves above your level and you move to break even. That's another bad habit because there's a very high chance you're gonna miss out on good trades if you do that. So we have to know when to leave it or when to move to break even. Another rule for you can set, if you're uncomfortable, if you're overwhelmed with the trade, if you just want to get out, you don't want to be in this trade anymore, then you can move to break even. So yeah, that's really what I would do. If you don't feel comfortable, there's no need for you to be in a trade. So if it's repeated, if you don't like it, get out. If it changes and you like it again, you can always get in. Just make sure you don't build those bad habits. Let me know if that helps. Okay guys, any other questions before we hop off here? If there's any other questions, let me know. And then you guys will find the recording of this on YouTube. It'll be a condensed version of this. So we're gonna remove all the breaks, all the pauses, and then you guys can watch it on YouTube as well if you guys want the recording. Okay guys, so that's it for today. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll do this again next week. So if you guys collect questions over the week, or you want some advice on trades, write them down, put them on a piece of paper, put them into your notes, and then next week we can get those answered for you. Or you can just type them into the global chat. Lots of great people there who can help you. But if you do want to have a little more in-depth analysis of something with the strategy mode, always happy to do that on these weekly calls. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, pick it up, put it into practice. The algo, it takes some practice. It works out of the box, and you will be profitable just trading the way, just by taking the setups. But if you want to improve, as traders, we should never be satisfied with what we have. We should always look for ways to improve and make things better. The good thing for you guys is with strategy mode, the team is doing that for you guys. So the team, every day they're working on the algorithm, seeing how they can make it better, how they can make the navigator better. So it's just a matter of putting a trust into the algo. And if you stay with the algo for a couple months, you're gonna see how powerful it is. And as you learn strategy mode, as you get comfortable with it, turn on X mode and see how the strategy mode trades come together, and then start taking some swing trades using X mode. Because that's the engine behind strategy mode. If you can understand that, that's really powerful. So start with strategy mode, learn it, get comfortable with it, get a good win rate with it. 60% is good. You want to be sitting at around 70%, which is doable. And the biggest thing is just repeated trades, knowing when to move to break even. That's really the biggest thing with the win rate. And then also what's important is to take all the trades. So keep in mind overexposure. Of course, you don't want to take too many trades on the same currency. But if trading is a game of probability, and if you don't take all the trades, you're gonna be let's say there's 6 trades, you're gonna only take 3 of them. 3 of them, then all of a sudden you take the 3 that are losers, and the other 3 are winners. You didn't get the edge that it provides. But if you execute on all the trades, that's where you get the edge. And again, we can go through a sequence of winners, we can go through a sequence of losers. A couple of weeks ago we went through a very good sequence of winners. Now we had some losers with the GBP pairs and NZD CAD. So we're going to go through this, and this is normal. That's why you need a full set of data, which which you can't get in a month, right? Because the market is different month to month. So every other month we have months where that are slower, with months that are faster. What's important is that you guys stick to it, you guys learn it, and you never settle for just the average. You see how you can improve, where you're messing up, and don't never blame the market. See how you can improve your trading, and don't just say the market was this, the market was that. There's always something we can do, there's always something we can improve. All right guys, I'll see you guys next week, and yeah, if you guys have further questions, put them into the global chat. Bye bye.